What's up, dudes? It's Molly. My computer is starting up, but my keyboard is stopped working. Imagine that. Last night I was doing transmissions. Everything was fine, and then weirdness started to happen, and then my keyboard stopped working. So, hacker strikes again. I'm going to get a new keyboard today, but I can't do anything with my computer until I get a new keyboard. So I thought today's story, while I curl my hair, is entitled Ladybird, Ladybird, Fly Away Home. Yeah, your house is on fire and your children are all alone. No, that's not the title. That is a little nursery rhyme that we used to sing in the United States a long time ago. And a ladybird is a ladybug. Austin, Texas might mean something. So, smiley face killer. What? Yeah. Ladybird Lake. Which, is it a lake or a river? Started having people showing up murdered. The police said it was different kinds of suicides. Yeah, but one dude, his whole head was duct taped. Yeah, he didn't do that to himself. What happened? So what happened was, this is what Spirit has downloaded to me. And I have watched a couple of like documentary type things about what the hell is going on down at Ladybird Lake in Austin, Texas, where all these men keep getting murdered, but the police say they're committing suicide. Is it part of the smiley face killer? So, no, it's not part of the smiley face killer. It is a coven of PCP ninjas. And so, what happened was, there was a bunch of homeless drug addicts, and their drug of choice was PCP. Now, there is one documentary where a woman kind of cracks the whole case. She's brilliant. The baby of her child, or the father of her child, the baby of her child, somebody might be a grandparent. The father of her child was homeless and lived in an encampment, a homeless encampment down by Ladybird Lake. And she says his drug of choice was PCP. And he showed up, killed, dead, drowned in the lake, and he had a hood or a mask, I can't remember what she called it, in his hand when his body was found. And it was his mask. Now, the hood or mask, whatever it is, when you hear her talk about it, you think like, oh, he got a hood up. No, this was a full ninja mask, like a black, full mask with just a little slit in the eyes. So she, when he was found dead, and she is not a drug addict, but she loved this dude. He was the father of her kid, at least clearly she loved him at one time. She loved him enough to drive down there and go take a freaking look herself. And when she was down there, she pulled into the parking area or whatever. And a homeless person kind of walked by and looked at her. And she said, "Hey, do you know so-and-so?" And he said, "Yes." And she said she tried to talk to him, and all of a sudden the dude started booking and running into the woods. And she's like, what the fuck? And she got out of her car and she ran after him. And she was walking and she could hear him on his phone saying something like, there's somebody here. They're asking about us. They know about us. So what it was a bunch of, so a person who's a PCP user and PCP is his drug of choice isn't the only PCP person down there. There's a whole bunch of people using PCP, angel dust. It makes you do really crazy things. And so there was different things that happened. This is what Spirit has downloaded to me. Sometimes some people would be in a bar and they would, the victim would be identified. Sometimes it was some chicks who may have been wearing a fanny pack or something like that. Something to do with maraschino cherries that are drugged. Where a chick says, I don't want the cherry of my drink. Do you want it? Here you go, here you go. Want to go down by the lake? I'll suck your dick. Then they go down by the lake. There's some people who were found without their belt on, their pants down. And so they're like facing this way, and another person comes from behind and hits them over the head, and then they drown them to rob them. There's other kind of gay incidences, which are kind of the same thing. So what it is the addict will kind of profile a person in the bar. What do you do? Yeah. Oh, of course you can buy me a drink. Open your wallet. Look at all that cash. Yeah, this is our next victim. Or, and it happened different ways, or people would walk home by the lake and there's a bunch of drug addicts, PCP ninjas, watching from behind the trees at this person. Talking to each other on a phone. They're stalking this person. So a lot of people who are homeless or addicts, they can still have a phone. If there's some kind of Wi-Fi or internet access, you can completely talk to somebody through Facebook Messenger. You can have an absolute working phone, no phone bill. And so they would stalk a victim like they were hunting somebody, a group of people. I hear 5. Take down somebody, rob them. And then a PCP, like, drug factory, I don't know what you call them, like, PCP Makers, got busted around Austin. So, this was drug addicts on PCP looking like ninjas, angel dust out of their mind, killing people, looking for cashola. The actual dude, yeah, I still can't figure out how he died. All Spirit shows me is a PCP ninja mask in his hand. I hear, Ladybird, Ladybird, time to go home. This is what happened. Some bar owners know that drugging, date rape drugs, all sorts of shenanigans go on in that bar scene. There's all sorts of here is the thing. In Austin, Texas, if you are a bartender, you don't have to just only work at one bar. They do it really weird. It's like they're freelance bartenders. So one night you might work at this bar. The next night you work at that bar. The following night you work at that bar. The next night you're back at this bar. So there were some questionable bartenders too. So it's all like with the drugging, it's all not related to the PCP ninjas. This is some roofie type stuff. And there's a nefarious bartender that bounces from bar to bar, I hear. There's lots of people who say, I just went out drinking at the bar, Rainy Street or something like that. I hear. I was drinking at the bar, and all of a sudden, I felt sicker than I've ever felt. I started throwing up this gelatinous stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they got drugged. There also is a drugging ring that comes by Chicago. I hear that. All of a sudden I have a pain in my head right now. So that's known to happen too, where now I see the cherry in the mouth. I don't want my cherry, you want it? That cherry is chock full of drug. Maraschino cherry. There's also con artist rings that drive in from other communities to do this kind of stuff. And they too have hit Austin. But the people who are showing up dead in the lake, that's because of the PCP ninjas that live right there, homeless. And it's like they're stalking. They may have called it a safari. We're going on a safari tonight. A safari might mean something. So it would be interesting to see, since that PCP factory, I wanted to say it, the people who made PCP, it was a big PCP ring, got busted outside of Austin. If the drug addicts can't get their PCP anymore, will it all just kind of fizzle apart? She could hear, when she ran in there, she could hear that dude on his phone talking to other people, saying things like, she's here. She's walking through the woods right now. I can't remember her name. She was highly intelligent. She was a black woman. She is a black woman. Hood classy and brave as fuck. As soon as that dude started acting all sketch and took off and ran into the woods, she ran after. What do you know about my baby daddy who got murdered? That's what she was trying to say. But instead, She heard him on his phone frantically talking to other people in the woods. It's time to go home. All right, well, there's the message.